Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our American School Climate Survey data kind of dig into here at OES. One of the things that we're really good at and one of the things we like to do is to take all different types of data to look at how we're doing at our school, how it affects our teachers, how it affects our students mainly. So one of the things that we did, 25 of our teachers were asked to take part in a random survey about school climate. And this is the data that was collected from that survey. And I've invited each of you to come in either as a survey participant or as someone that we highly value your feedback because you've been here for many years. You've watched our school culture and climate change. So what can we do to make these improvements? Remember, all the data that we look at is always about empowering our students, empowering our teachers to make us better at what we do. Okay? And we're ready to go on to our next slide. One of the things that we looked at in this school climate survey were 3 different categories. It was a total of 25 questions, which were, I personally divided into 3 subgroups. One was school, one was student, one was teacher, one was parents. When we're looking at our continuous improvement plan, or as we call it now, the ASIP, those are the areas that we usually target, those 4 areas. So I kind of wanted to relate this to what we're already doing in breaking down this data. And so the first thing that I looked at was school. If you look at the school climate survey example that I gave you, it looks like this. You're going to see that there were 2 questions on there, or 2 items that were directly related to school. Then we looked at parents next, because while digging through this sample, I found that there were also 2 questions that were directly related to parent involvement. Then looking at our teachers, there were 8 questions that were specifically, or items that were specifically about teachers in our school. And then lastly, but probably the most important stakeholder or piece that we're going to look at today is our student involvement. And the majority of the questions were about the students in our school and how is that climate for them. Because we as adults, you know, we're here, we can adapt, but that climate truly impacts our students. I like to think about school climate the same way we do about climate in nature, that it either helps us to grow or kind of, you know, keeps us where we are. Kind of stifles us. All right, we're ready to move on. In the first category that we looked at, because there were only 2 items, and it's probably the one that we're going to look at the least as educators, is our building itself. And item number 1, the school is a safe place. We all know that. Remember, we just got nominated as one of the top 10 safest school systems in Alabama. So we know that OES is a safe place to work. And overwhelmingly, our teachers agreed, and they agreed, you know, strongly. And then the next question that we had, which to me was kind of outside of our walls, but does have a direct impact on our students and our teachers, was the item that was number 25, and it states that racial barriers and economic barriers in education do not keep students in the U.S., and we're looking specifically at Oxford Elementary, from making educational gains. And then we looked at our teachers' survey answers on that, and you're going to see that our teachers disagree. That we as educators see this as a problem in the United States. So I wanted to take a deeper look into that today and see if it's something that specifically addressed or is an issue at Oxford Elementary School versus just kind of the American population as a whole. Okay, next. Then we're going to look at our parents as stakeholders. Remember, parents are those people that have a big job in our school, but they're the ones that we can't control. They're the ones that are not with us day to day. You know, sometimes we wish they were, sometimes we're glad they're not. But looking at these two items, which on your sample was item number 17 and item number 24, we see that parents are supportive of our school and the activities that take place within our school. And according to our data, overwhelmingly, the majority of teachers agree and strongly agree that our parents are pretty involved here at OES. That they feel welcome, they come in, groves to big things like student-led conferences, art night. We just have a lot of turnout and participation. Okay, and then the next thing that we're going to look at for parents specifically is that teachers have met most of the adult caregivers or parents in their students' lives. And guys, really, most of our teachers have. All of them say, I've met most of them. Okay, just about everybody. We didn't have anybody that was neutral or not sure, and we had a couple of people that said that they didn't agree, but I think those people are more of the support part of education like Title I and maybe special ed as those everyday classroom teachers like the majority of you are. And what do we notice with our parent data? We don't have any problems regarding our parents, really, do we? So this is not an issue that we're going to continue to look into. We're going to move on to those other two most important stakeholder pieces. Okay, and first would be the teacher. If you look at your sample, you'll see that items 2, 3, 8, and 11 specifically pertain to the teacher. And I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what they say. Teachers are pursuing in-service. Teachers have the opportunity to learn new instructional methods. Administration at OES trusts teachers' judgment. And teachers can benefit from more district PD. Well, typically research tells us to have a happy and high-performing teacher, they focus on these things. Professional development. Do I have the opportunity to grow? Am I able to use what I'm learning in my classroom? Is it making a difference? Then students, of course. What's behavior like for my students? How are they, working day to day? Are they responding to core? Are they responding to intervention? And then, of course, for teachers, administrators play a huge part in that as well. Do my administrators make me feel comfortable? Do they make me feel valuable? Do they trust my judgment as an educator? So those are kind of some of the things in the mix that make a happy and productive teacher. We're going to look at a couple more of those. If you'll go back one. Okay, items 16, 18, 20, and 22 also pertain to the teachers. We care about our students. We are unfair as one of the things that it asks about, and we'll explain that a little further in just a moment. We foster a supportive climate for student learning, and we look forward to coming to work. So those are some things that we're going to talk about as well. Now we're ready to move on to the other. And then these are just a couple of little data charts that I put in there for you guys. And this is support for the teacher and by the teacher, because all of those items pertain to some type of support. The professional development, the trusting of judgment, the ability to incorporate new learning and new learning activities in my classroom. All of those are supports for the teacher. Then we have the supports by the teacher. Do I value my kids? Do I create a supportive environment of my students? In my classroom, do my students feel welcome? Those are all things that are by the teacher. There was just one piece in there that truly concerned me. Of course, we had the question, are our teachers unfair? No. You can look at the data to see that our teachers are not an unfair group of people. As a matter of fact, most of our teachers who took this survey highly disagreed with that. And then if you will look at our very last question for teachers, which was question 22, this is where we're going to focus a little bit of our time this afternoon. Teachers look forward to coming to work. We see that the majority of the 25 teachers who took the survey do enjoy coming to work. And a lot of them even marked out most days and put every day. But then we have this number of teachers who are not sure. How are you not sure about how you feel about work? Is it a day-to-day thing? Is it uphill, downhill? Your students? Is it you're not receiving the PD that you need to make you feel like a valuable and supported teacher? Is it the fact that, you know, we as administrators in some way could provide you with more support, more freedom, more things to pick and choose and differentiate what you need as a teacher? So that's just something that I kind of want to look at, because this, to me, if we don't have happy teachers that enjoy coming to work and doing their jobs, what does it do to our student data? We're going to see a plummet. Okay? Now we're ready to go on and look at the student. Items number 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10 were all about our students. To have a happy and high-performing student, research also tells us they need a supportive teacher. They need quality environment, both at home and school, and good behavior. And students are concerned about academics and their success academically. You know, we have those students we say aren't motivated, but they usually come to us and they seem unmotivated because they haven't had a chance to be successful yet. And that's why here at OES we're all about that growth model and what I can do now and what I will be able to do in the future. It's always, I can't do it yet, not I can't do it. Okay, so those are some of the places, and you can look on your example and see which items we're looking at specifically. And what the questions or the items where our students fight a lot. Most of them are college and career ready. They trust their teachers. They're bullies. They're respected by their teachers. They are capable of high achievement scores. And then we have one more piece to look at for our students. And I told you the majority of the items revolved around our students. And that was 12, 13, 14, 15, 19, 21, and 23. That all involve happiness and high performance of our students. It goes back to the teacher, the environment that they're in, both at home and at school. And remember, we can't control that home environment, so we have to control the school environment while they're here with us from 7:15 to 3:15 every day. And then you can look for yourself at the others. Okay, you'll go on to the next one. And then here's a breakdown of the data. These are items 21, 19, 9, and 6. And then we have another breakdown of 15, 14, 13, 7, and 4. And these ones, guys, where it's the teachers disagree, those are the ones that are like, my students would not be successful in a college or university setting. Or my students are bullies. Things like that. Those are the ones that you're going to see those highly disagree. And I will make this available on public or either email to anyone who would like to have a copy of this just for your own school climate learning. Okay. And then we're going to move on to the next one. And this is academically. These were the questions that are items that pertain to academics for our students. The last one was the environmental, and the previous one was student support. And academically, those items were number 23, 12, 10, and 5. Because the student piece was so big, I kind of broke those into chunks as well, into different sections, so we could look deeper into that data. Now to get to our activity piece.